All right, so $10,000 is the amount of money that you were trying to get to because maybe you're wanting to add $10,000 to your emergency fund to help you fully fund it. Maybe you're wanting to save and set aside $10,000 because you want to use this for like a planned future vacation. Or maybe you just like the comfort of knowing that, hey, I have $10,000 sitting completely free in my bank account. There is probably a multitude of reasons why various different people would be trying to get $10,000. And ultimately, you clicked on this video because you are looking for a faster way to get to this $10,000. So that is exactly what I'm going to give you in this video. So with that being said, if you're new here to this channel and you enjoy content just like this, what you want to do is find the subscribe button on the bottom right side of the screen. Go ahead and give that subscribe button a quick tap for me. And then if you could just do me one more quick favor before we go ahead and dive right into the video, find the thumbs up button right here beneath the video, give it a quick tap, and with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video and help you get to that 10K a little bit faster. Okay, so the very first step in helping you get to this $10,000 as soon as possible is gonna be for you to get super clear and identify exactly why you want this $10,000. And this answer is gonna vary from person to person. My reason for the $10,000 is going to be completely different for you. But you, yes, you watching this video, you need to ask yourself, why do I even want to get this $10,000? Is it for adding to your emergency fund? Is it so you will have a fully funded emergency fund? Is it for like a family vacation? Is it for some large repair that's going to come up that you need to have this money set aside for? Is it because you want to use this $10,000 to invest in the stock market? What is your specific reason for getting to this $10,000? Now, why do you want to go ahead and get so specific and so clear? The reason why is because this $10,000 is your goal. It's not my goal, or it's not the next person's goal. But in order for you to take all of the other necessary actions that you are going to need to take to help you get to this $10,000 sooner or quicker, you are going to need to have that constant motivator or the reason why you're even doing this in the first place. Because if it's not important to you, you simply will not want to take all those other necessary actions in order to get the end result of the $10,000 faster. So get super clear, understand, identify with yourself, very clear, what do I even want to get this $10,000 for, and how important is it to you? And the more important it is to you, the more likely that you're going to do all the rest of the things that we're about to discuss in this video. Alright guys, so now it's time to actually start taking real action so we can help you get to this goal of this $10,000 as fast as possible. So in order to do that, you gotta know your numbers. And what do I mean when I say you gotta know your numbers? You gotta know exactly how much income you have coming in each and every single month, and how much of that income are you spending each and every single month. So then that way we can know how much money do we got to work with that we can then save and contribute to this goal of $10,000. So once you get super clear about the income that you're bringing in and your expenses every single month, then how we can find some extra money that we can then contribute to that $10,000 goal, we're going to start by looking at your mandatory. These are the expenses that are mandatory. You're like, dude, I gotta buy these things each and every single month without fail. Like, I'm gonna buy these things regardless. So I am like, they are very necessary in order for you to live each and every single month. So you're gonna look at those areas and say, hey, is there any opportunity for me to reduce my cost on these mandatory living expenses? If there is, great. That's gonna allow you to get to your financial goal of $10,000 even faster. But if there's not, it's no big deal. But a really quick example that could be, one of your mandatory expenses that you have each and every single month that maybe you could reduce is, let's say, like for your car insurance, you could say, hey, right now I'm using one of the premium car insurance companies. Maybe I could call another car insurance company, get just as equal of, the car insurance coverage, but for a much less cost, allowing you to keep more of your earned income. And then you could use that savings, the money that you're going to save by switching insurance carriers, you're going to now be able to use that additional money that you were saving to add to your goal of getting to that $10,000 goal faster. That's just a really quick example of something that you could do to lower your mandatory monthly expenses. So the whole purpose of looking at the amount of income that you are bringing in each and every single month, and then looking at the areas that you are going to be spending this money in, is so that way we can then find out where are the opportunities that we can then not spend that money in those areas that are unnecessary, and then we could be more intentional about where we want our money to go. Because you're super intentional about where you go to make your money, but you're probably a lot less intentional about where your money goes when you are spending it. And we want to get a lot more intentional about that. So then that way, hey, We know where we go to make our money, and we want to know exactly where we are putting our money when we spend it. We only want it to be going to places that we want to spend it on, and then that means we're not spending none of our income that we work hard for. We're not spending any of that hard-earned income in areas that we don't want to, allowing us to keep more of that hard-earned income, and by default allowing you to have more of your income to then contribute to your goal of getting to $10,000 even faster. So when you are looking over your numbers and you're looking at your income and you're looking at your expenses each and every single month, you want to identify areas where you are spending a lot of your income spread out over multiple different areas, and you're like, hey, I'm spending money in all these different areas and it's just simply not a necessity. It's not something that I need to be spending my money on each and every single month. Or maybe those, those areas vary, like from month to month. You're like, oh, I always go to all these different attractions or different things that you are doing with your money each and every single month, but they're just not necessary in order for you to function on a month-to-month basis. So that means you could make adjustments, maybe reduce them or cut them out completely just for this period of time to allow you to keep extra income, so then that way you can then again get to your goal of $10,000 faster. Alright guys, so in that last step, basically what you were doing is you were like looking at the amount of income that you bring in, looking at the amount of money that you are spending each and every single month, and looking for all of the possible opportunities for you to reduce your monthly expenses. And then as a result, that's going to leave you on average a certain amount of money left over in your bank account each and every single month. So that directly ties into the next step that we're going to take here in this process of helping you get to your $10,000 faster. And so what is exactly that step? So what you're going to want to now do in order to make this as effortless as possible on your part, and so that way there's very little thinking involved here, and you want this process to be like seamless, like you don't want to have to be thinking about every single little step as you are implementing this. So what you want to do is you want to automate what you can automate. So all of this excess money that you are going to be having left over in your monthly budget every single month, you do not want to leave that money sitting inside your checking account, because if you leave it there, ultimately you will find a reason to spend it. Trust me, it will happen. So again, we want to be intentional with everything we're doing here, because we have a very intentional goal of getting to $10,000. So we need to be intentional about the actions that we're taking to get there. Alright, so what you want to do here is you want to find, based on your specific situation, based on the numbers, your income, your expenses, on average, you're going to have a certain amount of money that is left over. And you want to find the number, the dollar amount that is completely comfortable for you to then transfer from your checking account over to some other account, whether it be a high yield savings account or just a very basic savings account. But you want to transfer over and have it set up automatically some amount of money from your checking account over to that other account that is going to be the account that you are going to ultimately build up and save up this $10,000 in. You want to set this up on an automatic transfer, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, but nevertheless you want to have it set up completely automated, so that way you don't have to sit there and think about it. All you need to do is go out there, make that money, keep your costs low. You've already identified how you're going to do that, and then as far as like transferring over the money, you don't have to get involved any further than when you initially set up this, because the rest is just going to be all done, basically by the computer system. Once you've told them, hey, I want to transfer this amount of money, and then you give them the frequency based on how often you want them to do that transfer, and then there it is, the work is done for you. So in this step, all you want to do is set up automated transfers from your checking account over to the other account where you're going to be saving up, and ultimately where you're going to have this account where it will be $10,000 once you've played out this entire process. Alright you guys, so now we're getting real serious to getting to this $10,000, because at this point right here, we've already cut our costs as much as possible. We're saving that money. We are now transferring over this money automatically over to that account where we are going to ultimately have this $10,000 at. But now we were like, we got to really up this thing. We got to start hustling and grinding, so that way we could get to this goal of $10,000 faster. So how are we going to do this? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the aggressive approach of finding out multiple different ways how we could increase our income. Now, obviously you could do as little or as much as you want in this specific area, but my specific recommendation is like, hey, how important is it and how fast do you need to get to this $10,000? And according to how fast and how important it is to you to get to this $10,000 is going to ultimately come down to how aggressive your approach is in doing all of these different things that we're about to mention right now. So ultimately what we have to do here in this phase is we got to find ways how we could increase our monthly income, because you've obviously been surviving and living off of the income that you have currently been making from just working, whatever it was, your job or your business or whatever. But now it's time to find additional income outside of that traditional income that you've been earning on a monthly basis. So we're going to start looking at really just, all the different opportunities that exist. Maybe you would just want to go online, check on YouTube, check on Google, look for side hustles, look for multiple different type of ways where you can make money on the side. I mean, just a few very basic general, side hustle examples could be like, man, can you drive Uber? Can you drive Lyft? Can you do DoorDash? Can you do, Instacart? Something like that. Some type of very like at your own convenience type of way where you could earn additional income. Can you, find items online that people are like, maybe like they're hurting for money, they're selling them significantly underpriced. You could swoop in, buy those items for cheap off of them, be more patient, post those very same items. Nothing was wrong with them. You could then post those items for a higher price and make the difference, make that additional income, because you're not hurting for money. You could take your time, be patient, and some other seller or some other buyer is going to purchase that for a higher price off of you, and you're going to make that difference, So that's like a really good, way to make extra money, flipping items online. Can you work longer at work? Can you say like, hey boss, like, I'm trying to make some extra money. Can I maybe say an hour extra every day? Or hey, can I get maybe 2 hours? Or what can I do, to maybe make some more money? Is there another department that I could go help out in? What can I do to make more money while I'm here at work? And if there's an option for them to be able to do that and use you in that way to help benefit the business and ultimately you make more money, trust me, if it's available and they can do it, they will go ahead and offer it to you. Now, if you're wanting to do it, is a whole nother story. But you're already at work, you might as well tap into that resource and look, how can you make more money while you're already there? So if you could work more, because the whole purpose of why we need to do all of these different strategies of looking for multiple different ways of helping us increase our monthly income is because for every single additional dollar that you can earn on top of your already like traditional income that you're earning each and every single month, it's going to be that much more dollars that you're able to speed up the process of getting to your $10,000 goal faster. All right, you guys, so this next step right here that you're going to need to do is extremely important, and you do not want to miss this, because if you do not implement this into your strategy for hitting the goal of getting to $10,000, the likelihood is that you will ultimately give up and that you will fail and never reach your goal of getting to $10,000. So what do you need to do? So you need to find a way to be motivated and to stay motivated from the start until the very end, and never be satisfied until you hit the end result and your end goal of getting to that $10,000 as soon as possible. So how do you go about staying motivated and being motivated through this entire process? Well, I know of 2 ways that myself personally, I've used these 2 things to stay motivated whenever I am trying to reach any specific goal. So the step 1, what I do in order to stay motivated and to keep myself motivated is I remind myself, why did I even get started and set out this goal to accomplish whatever the thing was? So in this case, it's hitting $10,000 as soon as possible. So why did I set this goal of $10,000? Was it because I'm trying to take my family on a vacation? Is it because I need $10,000 to get out of debt? Is it because I need $10,000 so I can have a fully funded emergency fund? Whatever that like reason is, like I gotta start with thinking there, like, why am I doing this? Why is this thing important to me? Because if it's important to me, I will take all of the necessary actions to get that end result. So it's like, that's the very first step. Understand why this $10,000 is important to you. So the next way that I'm going to keep myself motivated through this entire process is I'm going to find a way to track my progress. So I mean, you could do this like in a super basic way. I personally, this is just what works for me. Some other way might work for you. But what I would do is like, I would get like a big whiteboard or some type of like board that I could post up in my room. I would write on it like with a marker and put like $10,000. And then whatever amount of money that I would like contribute to that account, and I'm saving it up, and I'm like, okay, I saved $500. So then I would like subtract $500 from it, and I'd be like, oh, I'm at $9,500. Okay, and like I would just keep hustling and grinding, and like as I'm making progress, I just keep like, subtracting down from it, and I'm like, I just need this much more. I just need this much more. I just need, 7,500. I only need 6,500. And as I'm seeing myself, make progress, I'm watching the numbers come down and down and down, and then I'm realizing I'm getting closer and closer, so it's making me like excited and making me want to keep pushing myself and keeping me motivated to keep going after doing these things that are getting me this result, helping me get closer and closer to my end goal. And it's like, it's just motivating me more and more and more. Like the motivation compounds, because the more that I see that it's working, the more that I'm making progress, the more excited I get, the more I want to keep doing what I've already been doing and look for more ways to speed up the process. And then ultimately, it's like I never got to a point where I'm like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, because like in step one, it's super important to me. And then I'm seeing the progress that I'm making. I'm getting closer and closer to my goal. So why would I stop? I wouldn't. I would just keep going, if not harder than ever, and all the way until I hit that goal. And then boom, you get your $10,000, and then you're like super satisfied. So now you get to do whatever it was that you set out in the beginning that you were gonna do with this $10,000. And it's like, awesome, congratulations, you hit that goal of getting your $10,000, you're a superstar. So what's gonna happen next is the video is gonna pop up here on the screen. What you wanna do is you wanna click that video, and I will see you in that next video.